We're just going to have an open visit. We want to invite you guys to ask questions and give us some comments. Let's have some conversation. We wanted to talk about marketing. Dr. Rosenbaum and Kathy I was just down there the other day, not too long ago, and Kathy was actually on her way out to do marketing. And I was like, tell me all your secrets and tell me what things are working for you and your team and kind of helping you guys grow your practice as you're coming along in Florida. So welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself to everybody, and let's visit.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy. I'm the sleep care coordinator for SWAS, which is Sleep with a Smile. Dr. Rosenbaum is my boss.
Hello, everybody.
My awesome boss. I'm a hygienist. Well, not anymore. Now I'm a sleep care coordinator. So I'm really enjoying my new role. Doing a lot of marketing lately. So getting out, visiting physicians in our area, visiting. We're trying to focus more on like pulmonary groups and cardiology, trying to get a lot of like knowledge to them about how we deal with, patients who are non-compliant with their CPAPs. So let me see, we are, I don't know, last week we were, we had a great lunch with a pulmonary group that was a group that I tried several times to get into, and a lot of pushback from the front desk. Finally got in. We ended up having a lunch with them, and it was great. I mean, they knew nothing about oral appliance therapy, which is so important for patients who are not going to be CPAP compliant.
Not even that, they didn't even have a dentist yet that they were even referring to, which is kind of surprising, but they didn't have anybody, but they weren't, we said, first question was, who do you refer to for your oral appliances, or just, for your patients that are not using their CPAP? And the first answer was, oh, well, we Inspire when they're not. I'm like, okay, but not everybody qualifies for Inspire, which is a wonderful service and a great, treatment, of course. But if surgical is not an answer, what else are you doing? And the answer was, I don't know. Have anything. So
nothing.
So that is like just show, and this is a young guy. This is not like a, somebody that's a dinosaur that's been around forever that doesn't, maybe just used to just CPAPs only or surgery. This was a young pulmonologist that we met with, and he had no idea.
Right.
And I think that's the main thing we've learned along the way as we've gone along is not just repetitive as far as like going after or going to, I should say, offices to revisit and see how they're doing, but also educating them on what we can do for the patients that are just kind of left hanging in the balance, that don't have an option, if they don't want surgery, or maybe they haven't decided to go that route yet. They're just not sure. They're scared. Not using their CPAP. So what do you do? And this is educate these physicians and let them know that insurance is an option, things like that.
It is so important. And I think one of the things that, as we're growing our practices and really starting to see patients with their primary care physicians, communicating with other treating physicians in your area is so important, because the sad thing is they really don't know what we do or how we do it. And right now, with so many patients without CPAPs because of all the recalls, some of them have just kind of thrown their hands up and just let patients go without, which, how do you do that? But they don't know. So one of the things that I really think, and I know you guys are doing a great job in your practice, is really talking to doctors and educating them about sleep apnea, number one. Sometimes you have to break it down as to, why it's so important to treat sleep apnea for them in their practice, or at least be aware of it. But they've never seen an oral appliance. No one's ever talked to them about an oral appliance. So I know you guys, when you go have lunch with people, I know you bring an arsenal of stuff with you to make sure that you have a good learning experience for these doctors. And once they talk to you guys, what kind of response did you get from that pulmonologist? Is, when you were letting him know this new way that you can take care of patients, that's not really new, but new to him.
Yeah, he didn't know anything about, he'd never seen an oral device, and his nurse practitioner was, holding it, touching it, taking it apart and asking us a bunch of questions about how it works. It's kind of sad because I said, well, what happens with your patients, that you can't have them be compliant with a CPAP? Well, we send them to the ENT, and we try to get them to do Inspire. I said, well, what happens if they're not a candidate? What happens if they don't want to do that? Ironically, the ENT they use is someone that refers a lot of patients to us that we have a great relationship with. And he is
small world.
very, very, he's so into, like, if the patient is not going to do Inspire, right away, he's calling us. Hey, Kathy, I need to send a patient over. This patient is suffering from sleep apnea. We have to help them. And right away, get the patient. But they were just shocked about how the oral appliance works. And I don't know, before we left the office, they were telling us about a few patients they've seen that week that were just non-compliant. And, we've been exchanging emails. I haven't received a patient from them yet, but definitely it's a start of a good relationship to help their practice as well.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've kind of seen is that doctors stick with what they can do, what's in their tool shed. Surgery's in their tool shed. Cutting something off is in their tool shed. CPAP is in their tool shed. But if you have to go into the mouth, hey, you might as well be on Mars. As soon as you open the mouth, then physicians seem to have no clue what's available for patients. And so that's why we've got to start really promoting in our communities that this is medico-dental. It's not medical, it's not dental. It's a blend of medicine and dentistry to help these patients breathe better and educate them. So what are some other ways that you're reaching out to local doctors in your area? So you see a patient, say that's a dental patient, that's one of your patients of record. So you see them and you screen them and you identify them. Kind of what are some of the steps that you do to help communicate outside of your office about your patients?
Well, for sure, if I have, still one day a week, I am doing dental hygiene. So I am in the patient's mouth. I'm seeing our patients that have been there for years who are having issues and ignoring them. And, lately we've been so successful in talking with them about really moving forward. Hey, you're breaking teeth, you're grinding your teeth away, you're having headaches, you're not sleeping. We need to get you tested. So my initial response to, the patients that are in my chair is, hey, who's your PCP? Oh, it's this person. Okay. We need to get you sleep studied. Okay. We need to get you a sleep study. We need to find out what's going on. Oh, well, I think I'm just grinding my teeth. I need a night guard. Okay. Well, we'd be happy to make that night guard for you after we rule out if you're really having another issue. We want to make sure you're safe. We are in the mouth more than, the physicians are going to say, and do, check the throat for about 1 minute. We're seeing everything. We're seeing all of those red flags. So
that's a connection to that. That's a connection to the physician and opening up that conversation with them to, we send letters out to the physicians when we see whether it's an existing dental patient of ours or someone who comes from, outside referral that we've, connected with through marketing or whatnot. And then of course we follow up with a letter to make sure that they know that we're taking care of their patient, who we are, and it makes them feel good that we're going along with them, because the reality is with physicians, they don't always, CPAPs are wonderful and it's great, but if they're not using their CPAP, there's a cutoff that happens many times that the patient is not followed along from that point, and then it's like that patient's just left out in outer space. What are you doing? Nothing. Well, this is where we can help you.
Right.
Inform these physicians about that, that availability that we have, or the patient has to help them. And they love it because they know, like, oh my God, now we can, we have an idea of where we can go. And that goes back to the physician that we met with at the pulmonology group that had no idea that there's an option to, I'm not saying that he didn't know about oral appliances. He's heard about it here and there, but, because oral appliances have been around for a long time. But it's the education and them understanding that it is a reputable clinical line of defense for sleep apnea, and it is something that we need to make sure that they are aware that we can have this option for these patients that are just not doing anything for their condition.
Right.
That's awesome. So y'all are writing every patient you see, and I've always kind of harped on this. Every time we see a patient, and that patient is a sleep apnea patient, they're really not our patient. At that point, if they're a patient who has sleep apnea that we're treating, they're really the primary care physicians. So you guys like me are spending time writing letters. To me, it's one of the most powerful methods of marketing is letter writing. And, not an email. I'm talking about printing it out, putting a stamp on it, or making sure if you're, friends with the doctor, faxing them so that we do it appropriately. But so are you like, when you're doing your marketing, are you setting aside time? Are you delegating time for letter writing, or are you delegating time to go out? What's kind of your schedule for your outreach as you're going along?
For my outreach, of course, on Mondays, like I said, I'm in the dental office and I'm doing hygiene. So every single patient that I see, whether it's a new patient of record, I'm always making sure everybody has an ARIES screening form or a stop-bang. Hey, what's going on? Anything that's going on there, I try to get them in to do an airway screening to see what's going on and then move forward from there. As far as scheduling is concerned, every Wednesday I'm out of the office. Never come in, leave. Tuesday, I don't see anybody until Thursday. I have basically a list of doctors that I have, a spreadsheet of doctors that I have visited in the past. Try to visit all of those doctors at least twice a month, whether they're sending patients or not, trying to get, move forward with them. If I've already, made a connection with them and we're receiving patients, I actually, go every 3 weeks or so. But just going to the doctors in the community where we're located, as you know, we are the middle of 1,000
everything. Yeah.
So I try to look out, for the month ahead. Okay, I have 4 Wednesdays. What am I focused on this month? Okay, last month it was all pulmonary. So I'm trying really hard to get all the pulmonary doctors in our area, our surrounding areas, to really.
What a good idea.
Referring to us. This coming month that's coming up in November, it's all going to be PCP. The following month, it's all going to be cardio. So we're going to just go into that, into that order.
Oh, that's great. Then you can kind of focus your message, you don't have to like shift from how to talk to a cardiologist to how to talk to a pulmonologist. You're focusing it down. That's a great idea. That way you can really make lists and kind of get your windshield time down so that you're just going from office to office to office. What a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, it's working pretty well. And then my follow-ups, I need to put some more time. There's never enough time on the road, really.
Yes.
It really isn't, because now we're getting super busy. So I need to be here at the office for clinical.
Sure.
clinical
Oh,
stuff.
darn.
So, but the follow-ups are so important with marketing. You visit an office, you see them, you bring them pastries, you send them an email, you send them your referral form by email. You give them stuff when you visit them. I always give them a referral form, and I always give them about our office. But, I don't know what happens to that after I leave. So I make sure I get an email of the referral coordinator or someone who's going to be able to be my direct contact if I have someone to
That's
send.
the key. Yep.
That's
Yes.
yeah.
That's, one of the things that's different in medicine and dental is that we really don't have a marketing system in dental. We really don't have to, you know what I mean? We don't have marketers that work for us, but physicians do.
Right.
Physicians groups have people who are just for marketing. That's all they do. They market. Home health agencies have marketers. Hospice agencies have marketers. They have people who do nothing but recruit patients. And so it's kind of a new place for us.
Yeah.
And if I may add to that, you have, yes, dentistry is very important and it's a wonderful thing. And we service patients and we make them feel good and they smile and it's the best. But you can't walk to 10 physicians, cardiologists, pulmonologists, ENT and say, hey, guess what, guys, I'm a dentist. I want to service your patients. Please send me your patients. I want to see them. I want to fix their teeth, make sure they have great oral hygiene and all that. And it's true. You do want to, and it's great. But reality is there's a dentist over there, over there,
Yeah,
over there.
sure.
And not to say that there's not plenty of patients out there. There are. But the point is that if you reach out, and especially, I mean, I'll be honest, 6 years ago, I got trained by you, Rebecca, and I got trained in airway and everything. And I was like, wow, like I get it. Pharyngometry, this is going to help me show the patient, this is going to help me show physicians, it's going to make me, be able to treat patients and give them an understanding that we can actually make a difference. But I can walk to physicians and be like, hey, or Kathy can walk to physicians and be like, hey, we're Sleep with a Smile. We want to help your patients. We want to try to service them with anybody that's not using CPAP. We don't want to take them off their CPAP. We just want to help the ones that are not using it, or the ones who want it for travel purposes, whatever it may be. The point is that that rings way deeper, harder in the physician's head for you to be able to approach that and say, hey, we want to help save your patients' lives, versus trying to build up your dental pool of patients, which is, again, plentiful, but not as impactful as, bleaching versus, hey, we can save your life so you don't die.
Right. So good. Oh, has it been 6 years? Am I that old? I'm getting old. So I'm just so proud of you. I know you've grown and grown, and I know now
before we met, I didn't have anything. Life is.
I know, and here you are.
Yeah.
Beautiful little boy, great sleep practice, growing and growing, and I'm so proud. So proud.
And I will add to that a sleep care coordinator is the most, other than the doctor, you have to have somebody that is there to be able to communicate with the patients, help in so many ways. And Kathy has been amazing to take her from hygiene and pull her out of hygiene, because I just believed in what she could do and how good she is.
Me too.
And to take her into a sleep care coordinator position, and that's really a big and important thing. And it is, and
I don't think that we can ever under speak how important it is to have one person who can be that lead in a sleep practice. If this is something you really want to do, I mean, if you want to grow a sleep practice, if you want sleep to be an integral part of your revenue in your system, of your patient load, if you really want sleep to be a firm foundation in your practice, you got to have somebody to take the lead in that, because you as a dentist have too many hats to wear already. I mean, you're doing business, you're seeing patients, you're seeing sleep patients, but I need somebody who's well-spoken, who has good people skills. Hygiene is great for that. Don't you think this is a really good job for hygienists to kind of want to change positions, kind of get out of the op some? And I mean, your education level is super high. You're great people. I mean, one of the best things about hygiene is your education skills that you've learned as a hygienist, and how to teach and talk to patients. So I mean, that's such a good opportunity for anybody who's in hygiene to kind of transfer into a marketing position and sleep care coordinator position. I think it's awesome. But you kind of have to wear both hats it's a lot more to being a sleep care coordinator than running a pharyngometer, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think we can count those hats at the moment.
No, I know. Hey, so what are some good, let's think of some good ideas to help people with little goodies to take to doctor. One of the things that I love to do for doctors in the area is seasonally, I like to take a jar of some kind of snack that has to be refilled. So go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby or whatever you want to go and get one of those refillable, chalk. You can write on it with chalk, or a big jar with a screw top, and fill it with something. Doctors and nurses who are very busy, hammering all day long, sometimes don't have time to take a break and get a good something to eat. And so having a little snack to get through the day is really nice to have behind the scenes. So one of my favorite things in the fall, I used to take a jar of candy corn and honey roasted peanuts and mix them together, and take a big jar of that. And that it tastes like a payday when you eat it. So it's just a big snack, a little protein, a whole bunch of sugar, but you have to refill it. So it's a nice way to be able to get past the front desk to refill that. So if I take it back there and said, here's our fall, our fall fun candy for for you guys. Thanks for the patients that you're referred, and it's got your name and your phone number and your information on it. And then I just check on it when you go check on it every couple of weeks. How's the candy jar looking? And if it's empty, then put something else in it. For Christmas, put something like Hershey's Kisses, the peppermint Hershey Kisses, or something in it that you can refill that doesn't cost a lot of money, but gives you an excuse to get behind the front desk, so that you're back by where all the nurses are, so that you can just have a few minutes to talk about patients that you've seen that you have in common, or to ask them for more patients to see. It is not beyond me to get behind the desk and go behind and say, hey, Mary, or whatever the nurse's name is, because I always that's to me is the most important name to know in an office is, hey, who you got for me today?
Yeah.
Who'd you see today that I can help? I'd have no shame in asking for a patient. Hey, I haven't seen anybody from you guys lately, and our patients are doing great. Who else you got for me today? Let me help somebody.
Yeah.
The ability to get behind the front desk is the trick in that. So what do you guys think? What are some of the fun stuff that you do? What you've been taking over to what snacks can I think of?
Well, I mean,
right?
and we're in South Florida, so
Cuban pastries.
Yeah, pastelitos, Cuban pastries really work very well. I usually get boxes of pastelitos, which are in a white, box. I put our colors of our office, which are blue, and as you can see, blue and well, he's wearing I am wearing the wrong one today. But anyway, we put our card, we put all what we do anyway, even if they already know us. We come in, we talk to them. I don't know how much I feel about a lot of candy. Being a hygienist, I'm struggling with that right now.
Sorry, I don't care.
I'm having a
but it's also job security. I'm just saying.
I'm having a hard time, but
inner demon.
Right. but my biggest thing is when I first started doing marketing, which was very new to me. I mean, I have no problem telling any patient in my chair in this office what you need, I don't know, a million crowns. I have no problem doing that. But when I started really going out marketing for sleep, I was like, okay, how do I start? What do
you say?
What do I say? How do I get past the front desk? And then I was like, okay, well, I've been in dentistry my whole life. I did front desk, I did assisting, I did hygiene, office management. Okay, I can do this. So I got dressed up beautiful. I had my jacket and my heels and everything. And I walked in and I got this. Can I help you? So one of the biggest things that I found is really going back to where really I'm from, my uniform, walking in there with my sneakers and my scrubs and just smiling and telling them exactly, why I'm here. And to me, even that's been, sometimes I go with nothing. I go with just myself. I go with my card. Hey, remember I was here last week. How are you? I just want to, to talk to you a little bit more about, what we do. And often I'm getting past the front desk lately quite a bit with that.
Awesome. Good job. What I learned, especially when I was marketing in that neighborhood, because I was marketing it down in Aventura, every front desk, have you figured out the calendar thing?
No.
Have you seen the calendar? Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Every front desk has a monthly calendar. And on that monthly calendar is marked lunches and breakfasts.
Oh, yes.
So I don't even say, because the window witch doesn't want you to get back there anyway. That's their job. Okay. So I go to the window witch and I say, hi, can I have the monthly calendar? I need to schedule a lunch. That's all I say. Then I get the calendar and I put my name on it. And that's when I go back. Okay. So get that calendar and find you a slot, because you have to compete with the pharmacy reps.
Right.
It's their way of keeping more than one pharmacy rep from bringing lunch at a time. And so generally I prefer to go for breakfast instead of lunch, because pharmacy always fills up and it's so far out before you can actually find a lunch. But you can generally find, every couple of weeks a breakfast slot, so you can bring some pastries in and a couple of jugs of Starbucks and sit down and have a few minutes before everybody gets too busy to talk about patients and who you can help and kind of swap information back and forth. So for me, I skip the niceties up front and just put my name on the list.
And something
every office I do is just get that calendar.
That's great.
And something also just to add that, sometimes, because you mentioned pharmaceutical reps come in their professional outfits and tie or professional, dress and all that stuff. And that's what the physicians are used to. But when they,
Right.
somebody I had spoken to that we talked to about it as an idea, but just to stick to wearing scrubs, because it immediately gives them a connection of like, okay, you're in the medical also, we're in scrubs too, we get you, and let's talk. So kind of, mentally it helps. So
I love that.
Scrubs with your name, like we designed and started, initially we used to go with just regular good old scrubs, but now we have our name, logo, all that stuff. But yeah, I think that's a good point to make. I think it kind of like just makes you feel like, hey, this is one of ours.
You're coming in as a peer.
Yeah, you're not here in a tie and a suit and a briefcase, and you're like, hey, here's my flyer.
I love it. That's a great. We do the same thing when the reps come into the office. When they come in all decked in and they've got all their notebooks and stuff and pop their card up on the desk. We do the same thing to them because if we're busy, no. So if you come in as a peer, that is great information. That's super good. So, but scheduling time to do it is important. Making it a focus so that you can grow. You've got to give time to get patients. So once you're working through your patients of record, you got to get out of their office. It's different in medical than it is in dental. They really need to see your face. So that's a great information.
Follow-up is really important. If you're going out there, you got to make sure within 24 hours, I'm sending an email. I'm getting cards of who I need to speak to, who is really going to help me to really promote what we're doing and how we can help their patients. I mean, we can't leave without an email. I want to make sure I know everybody's name. And before I'm in the car, I'm writing everything down because I'm not going to remember everybody's name. I want to remember everybody's name. So, hey, it was nice meeting all of you. Juliana, how can you help us? Or how can we help your patients? And we want to make sure that we do that. And when I go marketing, I always make sure, since we're doing dentistry and sleep, we have our blue uniforms, which is the Rosenbaum Dental Group. And then we have the SWAS. And, they'll ask me, what is SWAS? What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, it's sleep with a smile. Well, why would you do that? Like, why does that mean that? And then I tell them and they're like, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense, So it's
amazing.
Just an easier way to really kind of, get the attention of the front desk. And that's the most important thing. You need to, even if they don't have a calendar, some offices do not have a calendar. I'm like, okay, they have to go and scramble and ask somebody if they can help us or do something. And even if we can't do a lunch, I try to say, hey, so when can we come by, or when can we visit for about 10 minutes? Can it be after work or can it be before work? We just really we need 10 minutes of your time just to tell you how that we can help your patients who are CPAP.
I love it. And some of it is sales. If you kind of have to be a salesman, you have to sell your practice, you have to sell your skill, you have to sell. So there's a learning curve in it. When I first started, I wasn't very good at it. Everyone thinks I'm this a big extroverted person, but really I am not. I am really an introverted person who makes myself be extroverted. Does that make sense? Like an extroverted introvert. So I'm actually in really foreign situations, I can be very shy and reserved. And so that was a big learning curve for me to just stomp myself in there and say, hey, I had no idea what I was doing. But you know what else I did? I learned in Fort Smith, one of the things I did is when I did lunches, I catered them. I cooked it myself. I cooked pasta meals and salads, and I would take home cooked food in for lunch. And that it was less expensive, but B, it was personal for them. And that was really good for me too. That I had a lot of doctors who would always ask me to come back and, hey, if you're going to come back and talk about sleep, would you, can we do another lunch, or can you make some of that corn chowder that you made, or whatever I had cooked. So they kind of got used to me. Sometimes they get sick of just having, like Panera and stuff. So giving them something different helps a little bit too. So awesome. One of the things I did too, because I am not a name person, I will never forget a face, but names, holy cow, I'm horrible. So I got one of those apps on my phone that you could take the business card and it would categorize the business card and put the names. It would automatically save business cards into like a business card deck in my phone as a system. And then I got a day timer too. So I had like my own little day timer that had my schedule, who I was seeing, how many miles I was driving, all those kind of things. So I kept all my business stuff in a day timer, handwritten, but then I'd also take a picture of that business card so I'd never lose it. So, and I could make notes about who it was that I talked to and who was the lead and who, most important for me, what was the doctor's nurse's name?
Yeah.
Because that's who I wanted to take the most care of.
Right.
What's your technique are you gathering up cards and keeping them in a Rolodex, or what do you, or just making notes in your book?
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me right now, but I have a folder. Right now, my method has been, since I started, is I have a SWAS marketing folder, and every single office that I visit, I staple the card. I write the person's name that I spoke to. Underneath the card, I leave space, and then I write everything about that practice that I can remember.
Oh yeah.
So I have
So good.
many a stack. I probably need to put in the computer at this point. But
I love it. I love it. And when I went in, I would always try to find out, I would look around the office. So when you go in, if you do get past the front desk and you get to go back in the back, if you get to stand by the doctor's offices, I always would look in because I'm nosy. But I also wanted to see, did they have pictures on their desk? Do they like baseball? Do they like football? What do they, what team do they have up on the wall? Are there dead animals everywhere? Are they big hunters? I had one doctor that literally the entire office was dead stuff. It was awful. It was, for those hunters, it was great. But for those who were a little overwhelmed by that, it was like, wow, a lot of overkill. But that was
much of that in South Florida.
No,
I'm just
we just
saying.
have this dead person behind us. That's all
We just have
that's all we
this-
that dead person. Yes. Well,
what happens when you don't use
but
all the
I knew that that's what he liked. And so that's what I would trigger on. I knew so like, let's just use an example. Say I went to visit with Dr. Carollo. You don't think I'd take him something for the Jets? Yeah, probably so. Just knowing, so I would really try to pay attention to the office to see if I could get any hints about the doctor personally so that I could get to know him more personally or her more personally, and then treat them to something about the things that they like and try to be friends with them, try to make it a relationship that we could really grow and make last for a long time.
Oh, we got frozen.
Frozen.
I don't know if we're frozen too, but
I don't know.
yeah. Let me go to Wi-Fi now.
Are you guys there?
Yeah, we're
We're
here.
here. Hi, Faustina.
She's just
Maybe
frozen, I guess.
No, I think it
Yeah,
go to
we're-
Rosenbaum, then I'll back. Is that what we're on?
Yeah, that's what we're on. We're good there.
Yeah.
Because Faustina can
She's
hear us.
frozen.
Can Rebecca hear you?
I don't hear her. She's not doing
Nope.
anything. I can see you guys moving and talking, so.
Oh, okay, we're good.
We'll continue. But but just add what she was saying, like, yeah, it's about, recognizing, and getting that relationship going with the office manager, sleep care coordinator for that position, whoever it may be, and connecting with them in some kind of way so they remember you. So like, you're not gonna just walk in there and be like, hey, here we are, here's what we do, here's an appliance, here's our flyer, here's this, here's that, and thank you, we look forward to seeing all your patients. Oh, doc, we love you, great, we look forward to working with you. And then you just go back and you just wait, and all of a sudden you're gonna have a ton of patients all of a sudden referred to you. That's not how it works. We've learned that quite well over the years. You need to really be diligent in going back to that office. And Dr. Jason Doucette, who I can credit for helping us a lot, a little while back with marketing and getting started with that. It's just, it's very important to continue to go after those offices, not the ones that are new that you've never been to, but the ones that you're already going to, and go back to and keep revisiting them. Even if it's been 2 months and they've sent you 0 patients, but they're still
I
one.
got kicked off.
Eventually you'll get 1 patient,
back.
you'll get 2, you'll get 10. It's just a matter of continuing that contact with that office manager, that sleep care coordinator, and just keeping that communication line open, because eventually they're going to have somebody that pops up. They're like, oh my God, what do I do with this patient? Like, oh my God, that's right.
Right.
Kathy came by from Sleep with a Smile, or
Right.
wherever you're at, that this doctor came by, and I think we can reach out to them and let's see if we can help our patient with an oral appliance.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, that was a hard, initially when I was doing the marketing, since it was new to me, I was going to a lot of offices and going and going and going. And then, Dr. Rosenbaum was like, how's it going? At so-and-so's office. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get back there. But I was focusing on going to so many offices. And then I was like, okay, wait, I have to go back and visit them. And the more that I revisited, the better things got. And we have quite a few referrals that, will text me directly. I have, I don't know, a lot of the referral coordinators, the nurses, even the ENT that we work with quite a bit will text me directly. Hey, I have this patient. Okay, I'm sending it over right away. So it's great. I mean, when you nourish those relationships and you really build them, I mean, I don't know, it's amazing to see today how this practice is from when I started here as a hygienist. And I told Dr. Rosenbaum, nope, I'm a hygienist. Nope, I'm a hygienist. And we had someone doing some sleep and she ended up, leaving the practice for, and I was like, okay, nope, I don't know. I'm going to be a hygienist. And when I took the leap of faith and really, sleep group really was, really helpful in me helping my decision of moving forward, knowing that it's going to be a different kind of helping your patients. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And now it's becoming, I'm down to 1 day a week. And after the new year, it's going to be 0 days a week. And it's,
You don't have time to do anything else. I'm so proud of you.
I know I
Yeah.
don't. And I do get to see my patients, and I have a hygienist who's super caring and loving, and, I'm still seeing everyone. And in that aspect, I'm going in the room. Hey, you're still snoring. You're not doing anything. Come on, let's get in here. This is my part now. Let's go. And it's working really well. I mean, so it's a big change for me, but, once you make that leap, you can't go back because you're saving lives, really.
You're
It's
saving lives,
amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
And if I may add to that, like besides reaching out to physicians and, sleep care coordinators and all that stuff, like, having sleep group solutions, you, Rebecca, in all honesty, you, Ronnie, and working with, as of lately, APSME and Dr. Kent, Dr. Jeff Rogers and Dr. Jeff Harrison, everyone has been like so supportive and amazing to facilitate us getting to where we're at today. And we're not at our goal. We're not where we want to be at. And to just think back how far we've come from years ago when you and I first met to, I'd say about 2 years ago now, since Kathy has taken over for the sleep care coordinator position and going through, 1-2 other sleep care coordinators to try to make it's frustrating times, and it's times that you want to be like, well, let me, as much as I see what's happening with my patients and airway and all this stuff, and what I'm seeing, people are not maybe listening and the right sleep care coordinator yet, or the right assistant yet, or whatever it may be. But in the end, if you stick with it and you just keep going and trying and putting yourself out there and doing it and talking about it and seeing the patients and learning and getting the support from Sleep Group Solutions and APSME, and it will make a difference. It can make a difference in patients' lives, and it's going to make a difference
In your practice.
In your practice as a dentist.
Right.
And
Absolutely. I'm so proud of the way, one of the reasons that I love working for Sleep Group is that we really do try to hold your hand and really support you and grow with you. And, it's the whole field is learning, growing and changing. So we're all trying to do better for each other and trying to make it really, through bringing in more people and really relying on these really extraordinary mentors. It's a great way for you, but it doesn't happen overnight. It does take some effort. It takes some investment. It takes some investment in time and investment in money and investment in stamina to get through those beginning days when you're really just starting to get your foot out and your name known in the community. The biggest thing is don't give up. Ask for help and we'll be glad to help you.
Yes.
So
That's a big thing. I think in the beginning, when you're like, oh, you go to the first office and they're like, okay, thanks. I'm going to give this to the doctor. The doctor's not doing that for
that went in the trash can.
the shredder, or it's going to the trash.
Yep.
But you have to keep going. And I don't know, support is really key. And sometimes my personality is a little bit like, I can do everything by myself. I don't need any help. Not so much. I'm still learning that at my age, which is sometimes annoying, but I have been able to reach out to you guys, other, our other dentists that are in the ABSME practice. I mean, all over sleep group. I can call anybody for anything, and really nobody ever says, "Oh, I'm too busy." So that support keeps you going when you're not sure. Now at this point, we just are moving forward and we're helping patients every day, and it's wonderful. But for those who just are getting started, don't let the few closed doors say, forget it, I can't do it. There's so much support out there. Reach out. It's great.
That's important.
Yeah. It's
What a
wonderful.
great, way to kind of wrap up for this evening. Don't give up. Ask for help. There's a bunch of people in our system who've been there and done that. It's your turn now. You guys were the beginners a few years ago. Now you're the ones who really have found your meter and found your way and really starting to make inroads, so that I know that you are really looking forward to helping others down the way behind you. So we'll all, we'll reach out our hand for help, and we'll put our hand behind to help the next person behind us. So we're glad to help. Hey, Faustina, does anybody have any questions or anything about marketing? Anybody want to say anything so we can let everybody go home for this evening? She may be chasing her nephew around.
I am. How did you know? Sorry. No, let me check Facebook real quick, just in case.
Y'all, thank you so much for spending some time with us and kind of sharing some ideas and some encouragement for people who are just starting marketing and who are looking to reach out and really help them with some ideas of how to get out and get into offices. I really appreciate you guys.
And anybody who wants to reach out to us
It's a pleasure.
personally, offline, whatever, call me, Kathy, and has any questions about Sleep Group or ABSME or anything.
Absolutely. Sleep with a Smile is in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Yes.
Sweetest people in the world. They're great to help you. So, and of course, you can always reach out to me, Rebecca Leahy. It's rleahy@sleepgroupsolutions.com. Don't ever hesitate to ask for help. We're more than happy to help you. So what you think, Faustina? Where are we at?
We're all good. I don't see any questions on Facebook.
Super.
Just everybody saying hey and thank you.
Well, thanks everybody for being here tonight. Kathy and Dr. Rosenbaum, I love you guys. You're my peoples.
Thank you so much.
So I'll be in Florida for boot camp. Boot camp is next weekend in Florida. So come see me, okay? I love you guys.
Sure.
All right.
Sounds good.
Please do it better.
Bye.
Thank you.
Faustina.
Lots of love, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
too.